Fine, can have a real video. What is there left to be said about Masahiro Sakurai that hasn't been said a million times? Creator of Kirby, director of all 5 current Super Smash Bros. Games, and as you can see, general god of video games. Well, I've got one. Maybe the thing holding Smash Bros. Back the most?
I'm sure this idea will receive some backlash. After all, Sakurai has spearheaded the series up until now, so the idea that he's causing problems might be hard to swallow for some. To get this out of the way, 1, I don't hate Sakurai, and 2, I don't think his influence is destroying the series. Considering the amount of stress he's under whenever he makes another one of these games, I think the man has done an admirable job making new characters and content for each installment.
Still, there's a couple of reasons that I'm starting to think that both the Super Smash Bros. Franchise and Sakurai himself would be better if he was to take a break from the series. First, let's talk about some things I noticed during the Smash 4 dev cycle that kinda concern me.
So Kirby is one of Nintendo's biggest franchises right now. The series had a bit of a rough patch during the GameCube era, but since has seen a huge resurgence, releasing many games across the Wii, Wii U, a ton on the 3DS, and most recently the Switch. Despite the fact that he's the creator of Kirby, Sakurai left the parent company, HAL Laboratories, in 2004, essentially relinquishing his control over the series, and even though the series has continued to produce games at a rapid rate, the man seems intent on only including content from the Kirby games he's made. For example, Kirby's Return to Dreamland came out only a couple years before Smash 4, and yet, instead of adding a stage based on that game, Sakurai instead made new stages based on Kirby's Dream Land and Kirby Superstar, both of which came out in the 90s.
There's a very important point that I want to make clear. I don't think Sakurai is doing this out of malice. We're not getting into conspiracy theories right now. Still, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't even realize he's doing it. Like, most people would agree that Bandana D is the next most obvious Kirby representative, right? After all, it has been in a lot of games recently, especially with its appearance in Star Allies, so it's pretty hard to deny at this point. Still, considering that that character was not a big player in the Kirby games that Sakurai developed, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a character that's not even on his radar. And yeah, it's only a matter of time in Smash speculation before you have to go there, so let's just rip the band-aid off and talk about Ridley. Regardless of your position on the size debate, it's pretty clear Sakurai is on the too big side. This would be okay if not for, well, a lot of things. First, after Samus, Ridley is unquestionably the most iconic Metroid character. To say that a character that important to the series can't be playable because of needing to tone them down, I think is silly. Second, I'm sure a lot of you have seen this mod of Project M with a fully playable Ridley, where it's big, but not too big, and definitely powerful, but also balanced. I'm not completely sure what Sakurai means when he says that if Ridley was to be toned down, it wouldn't be Ridley any longer, but I find it hard to believe when a team of fans is able to make something so close to what everybody wants from Ridley. Neither of these points on their own are a massive deal, but they show that Sakurai's tenure as director of Smash has pushed him towards a set of biases. Maybe this is also the reason why we haven't gotten a new Zelda character in a long time, or why there's always a new retro character in each installment, despite there seemingly being little demand for them. It's unfortunate to say, but if ideas like this are as ingrained in Sakurai's mind as I think they are, I can only see this being remedied by having a new person come in to take the reins of the series. So far I've only talked about ways that I think Smash Bros. Could benefit from Sakurai stepping down, but I do think that there are ways that the man himself could potentially benefit from this as well. When I say that Sakurai has put his heart and soul into Smash Bros., I really mean it because it seems like he works himself into the ground when making these games. Last time I checked, his right arm still hadn't healed from when he was working on Smash 4. It'd be a good idea for him to stop directing these games if for no other reason than I don't want to have to mourn him anytime soon. Beyond that, I looked a little more into Sakurai's departure from Nintendo and found a statement of particular interest. In an August 2003 interview with Nintendo Dream, he stated,
It was tough for me to see that every time I made a new game, people automatically assumed that a sequel was coming. Even if it's a sequel, lots of people have to give their all to make a game, but some people think the sequel process happens naturally. Now, for as much as I love Smash speculation, I'd be lying if I said I didn't know this is exactly what happens in this community. What happened as soon as Smash 4 came out? Everyone started speculating on DLC. What happened when DLC finished? Everyone started speculating on Smash for Switch. It's especially ironic that Sakurai left Nintendo with the direct intention of not making sequels, and yet has made basically nothing but sequels for the past 15 years. Contrary to popular belief, he did make a couple original games. This DS puzzler called Meteos, and a Japan-exclusive arcade collectible card game with a name I'm not even gonna try to pronounce. But after those two, he went right back to making sequels, directing 3 Smash Bros. Games as well as Kid Icarus Uprising, which I, along with many other people, really loved. Sakurai has stated that he doesn't have much interest in making a sequel, and I suppose making a direct sequel to that game would be counterproductive to the point I'm making here, but I don't know, I just really want this game developer that I love so much to finally be able to make the games he wants to make, and instead of feeling obligated to spend the rest of his life making Smash Bros. Not to say that I don't think Sakurai should be at all involved in these new Smash Bros. Games, just maybe have him be more of a Miyamoto than a Kojima. After all, he is the only person that has experience being the director for one of these games. I think that for the sake of both Sakurai's well-being and the Smash Bros. Games progressing, that maybe him stepping away from the series and taking on more of a consulting role is the best option.